Hello and welcome to episode 53 of the Idiot Book Nook. My name is Blazewing and my pronouns are she, her, and they, them.
I am the Reading Dragon, and my pronouns are she, her.
My name's Lady Punnett. My pronouns are primarily she, her, sometimes they, them. Today's a she, her kind of day.
And I'm Crittershy. My pronouns are she, her, they, them. Today's a she, her day.
Excellent. We're doing chapter 38 of the Amulet of Samarkand. We're in the middle of what appears to be the end, the beginning of the end. So, or at least for this book. So, just before we get back into that, if you want to follow us on social media, you can do so at linktr.ee/idiotbooknook. You can find all of our individual socials. You can find links to all of our podcast feeds. And if we're not on a podcast feed that you'd like to see us on, let us know. You can also find a link to our Twitch stream. You can come and join us at 9 a.m. Mountain Time on Wednesday mornings. And you can also find a link to our Anchor feed where you can leave us voicemail messages should you wish to do so. Leave us some feedback, let us know how you're liking the story, let us know how you like the podcast, all of that jazz. But I don't have any, with that being said, I don't have any housekeeping that needs to be done right now. So, narrator.
Yeah.
Are you ready for chapter 38?
Yeah, and I just wanted to say something real quick. Jay, okay, it's Jay, just sent me a link for a little, Furby keychain done by Funko Pop.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need it.
Okay.
You don't need it.
Here's the funny thing, though.
You don't need the cursed object in your house. You already have one.
It's not an actual Furby. It's just Funko Pop's miniature keychain thing. And it's of a tiger Furby. Tiger Furby is what I grew up with. It's so cute. Ah! Anywho. I am ready. Let me just get back to getting there. There we go. The Bartimaeus Trilogy. Book 1. The Amulet of Samarkand. Written by Jonathan Stroud. Narrated by the Reading Dragon. Voice acted by the Reading Dragon, Blazewing 2010, Lady Punnett, and Crittershy. Chapter 38. Simon Lovelace strode alone through the corridors and galleries of the great house. His head was bowed as he walked, his hands loosely clasped behind his back. He paid no heed to the rows of paintings, sculptures, tapestries, and other artifacts he passed. He never looked behind him. Nathaniel flitted from pillar to pedestal, from bookcase to writing desk, concealing himself behind each one until he was satisfied the magician was far enough ahead for him to continue. His heart...
Solid Snake.
Right. He's just missing a box. His heart pounded. He had a rushing noise in his ears. It reminded him of a time when he had It reminded him of a time when he had been ill in bed with fever. He didn't feel ill now, but very much alive. The moment was fast approaching when Lovelace would strike. He knew it. He knew it as if he had planted it all. He knew it as if he had planned it all himself. He didn't yet know what form the attack would take, but he would see its imminence in the tense outline of the magician's shoulders, in his stiff, distracted way of walking. He wished Bartimaeus would find him. The genie was his only weapon. Lovelace ascended a narrow staircase and disappeared through an open arch. Nathaniel climbed after him, placing his feet noiselessly on the slippery marble steps. At the arch, he peered around. It was a small library or gallery of some kind, dimly lit by windows in the roof. Lovelace was making his way along a central aisle between several rows of projecting bookcases. Here and there sat low display tables supporting a variety of oddly shaped objects. Nathaniel took another peek, decided that his quarry was almost at the opposite door, and tiptoed into the room. Suddenly, Lovelace spoke.
Maurice!
Nathaniel shot behind the nearest bookshelf. He flattened himself against it, forcing himself to breathe quietly. He heard the far door open. Stealthily, careful not to make the slightest noise, he turned his head inch by inch until he could look over the top of the nearest books. Other bookcases separated him from the opposite side of the gallery, but framed in a gap between two shelves, he could just make out the red, wrinkled face of Schuyler, the old magician. Lovelace himself was hidden from view.
Simon, what is wrong? Why have you come?
I've brought you a present.
Lovelace's voice was casual, amused.
The boy.
Nathaniel nearly fainted with shock. His muscles...
He failed his stealth check.
Epically. Nathaniel nearly fainted with shock. His muscles tensed, ready to run. Lovelace stepped out from behind the end of the bookshelf.
Don't bother. You'll be dead before you leave the room.
Nathaniel froze, teetering on the edge of panic. He kept quite still.
Come round here to Maurice.
Lovelace mentioned with ostentatious courtesy. Nathaniel shuffled forward.
That's a good boy. And stop trembling like an invalid.
Invalid.
Another lesson for you. A magician never shows his fear.
Invalid.
Invalid.
Yeah, they're spelled the same, but in this context it is pronounced differently.
I hate English.
So do I.
There's too many rules.
Yep.
I know. Nathaniel entered the main aisle and halted, facing the old magician. His body was shaking with rage, not fear. He cast his eyes left and right, looking for avenues of escape, but saw none. Lovelace's hand patted him on the back. He recoiled from the touch.
I'm afraid I haven't got time to talk.
Lovelace said.
I will leave you to Maurice's tender care. He has an offer to make you. Pardon, was that a mumble?
How did you know I was here?
Rufus Lime recognized you. I doubted that you would try anything too hasty downstairs, given that the police are hunting you in connection with that unfortunate fire. So I thought it best simply to lead you away from the crowds before you could make trouble. Now forgive me, I have a pressing engagement. Maurice, it's time.
Schuyler's face crinkled with satisfaction.
Rupert's arrived, has he?
He's arrived, and his men have conjured a formidable effort. Do you think he suspects?
No. It's the normal paranoia sharpened by that cursed attack on Parliament. The Resistance has a lot to answer for. They have not made today's task any easier. Once in power, Simon, we must root them out, these stupid children, and hang them up in chains on Tower Hill.
Lovelace grunted.
The Efreet will be present during the speech. Rupert's men will insist.
You will have to stand close to it, Simon. It must get the first full force.
Yes, I hope the amulet...
Stop wasting time. We've talked about this already. You know it'll hold firm.
Something in the old man's voice reminded Nathaniel of his own master's cold impatience. The wrinkled face twisted unpleasantly.
You're not fretting about the woman, are you?
Amanda? Of course not. She is nothing to me. So...
Lovelace took a deep breath.
Is everything set?
The pentacle is ready. I've a good view of the room. Rufus has just put the horn in position, so that's dealt with. I shall keep watch. If any of them resist while it's happening, we shall do what we can, but I doubt if will be necessary.
The old man gave a little titter.
I'm so looking forward to this.
See you shortly.
Lovelace turned and headed for the arch. He seemed to have forgotten Nathaniel's existence. The old man suddenly spoke after him.
The Amulet of Samarkand, do you wear it yet?
Lovelace didn't look back.
No, Rufus has it. That Efreet would smell it a mile away. Time. I shall put it on as I enter.
Well then, good luck, my boy.
No answer. Presently, Nathaniel heard footsteps clattering away down the stairs. Then, Schuyler smiled. All the wrinkles and creases of his face seemed to stem from the corners of his eyes. But the eyes themselves were blank slits. His body was so stooped with age that he was scarcely taller than Nathaniel. The skin upon his hands looked waxy, dusted with liver spots. Yet Nathaniel could sense the power in him.
I'm going to get Critter to take Schuyler's voice, because Nathaniel is going to be interacting with him.
Yep.
Critter, make sure you try to make your voice sound like an old man who has a bunch of liver spots.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'd say like Alfred Pennyworth, but we do not want to give Alfred Pennyworth a bad name.
We're starting at...
Yep, we're starting exactly there, Grim.
You don't need to cue her in yet, Birdie.
Yet Nathaniel could sense the power in them. You're starting at John.
Yeah.
John.
Schuyler said.
That is your name, is it not? John Mandrake. We were very surprised to find you in the house. Where is your demon? Have you lost it? That is a careless thing.
Nathaniel compressed his lips. I'd like to imagine that this guy does have a little implant or demon, and like it's just on a low enough level, like second level, that Nathaniel is just kind of getting distracted like he does.
This guy's trying to talk to him, but the little demon messenger bird is just there. It's acting like a second set of eyes for the old man since he can't see.
That works.
Yep. Nathaniel compressed his lips. He glanced aside at the nearest display table. It had a few strange objects on it: stone bowls, bone pipes, and a large moth-eaten headdress, perhaps once worn by a North American shaman. All useless to him.
I was all for killing you straight away,
Schuyler said.
but Simon is more far-sighted than I am. I suggest we make you a proposition.
He suggested.
He suggested.
He suggested we make you a proposition.
Yeah, he just wanted to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And
so did the bird.
Which is...
Nathaniel was looking at the next display table. It carried a few small, dull cubes of metal, wrapped in faded paper strips. The magician followed his gaze.
Ah, you are admiring Miss Cathcart.
Cathcart.
You are admiring Miss Cathcart's collection. You will find nothing of power there. It is fashionable among rich and stupid commoners to have magical items in their house, but quite unfashionable to know anything about them. Ignorance is bliss. Sholtopin is always being pestered by society's fools for trinkets like these.
Nathaniel shrugged.
You mentioned a proposition.
Yes, in a few minutes, the 100 most powerful and eminent ministers in the government will be dead, along with our sainted prime minister. When Simon's new administration takes control, the lower magical orders will follow us unquestioningly, since we will be stronger than they. However, we are not numerous, and there will
soon be spaces.
I needed to scroll.
Okay.
And there will soon be spaces, vacancies to fill the higher reaches of the government. We shall require talented new magicians. Talented? Oh, okay. We shall require talented new magicians to help us rule. Great wealth and the relaxation of power await our allies. Well now, you are young, Mandrake, but we recognize your ability. You have the makings of a great magician. Join us, and we shall provide you with the apprenticeship you have always craved. Think about it. No more experiments in solitude. No more bowing or scraping to fools who are scarcely fit to lick your boots.
1 second.
We will test and inspire you. We will draw out your talent and let it breathe. And one day, perhaps, when Simon and I are gone, you will be supreme.
The voice trailed off, left the image hanging. Nathaniel was silent. 6 years of frustrated ambition were etched into his mind. 6 years of suppressed desire. To be recognized for what he was, to exercise his power openly, to go to Parliament as a great minister of state. And now his enemies were offering it all to him. He sighed heavily.
You are tempted, John. I see that. Well, what do you say?
He looked the old magician directly in the eye.
Does Simon Lovelace really think I will join him?
He does.
After everything that has happened.
Even so, he knows how your mind works.
Then Simon Lovelace is a fool.
John.
An arrogant fool.
You must...
After what he has done to me, he could offer up the world and I'd refuse it. Join him. I'd rather die.
Schuyler nodded, as if satisfied.
Yes, I know. That is what I told him you'd say. I perceived you as you are, a silly, muddled child. You have not been brought up correctly. Your mind is fogged. You are of no use to us.
He took a step forward. His shoes squeaked on the shiny floor.
Well, aren't you going to run, little boy? Your gin's gone. You have no other power. Would you not... Would you
not like a head start?
Would you not like a head start?
I don't... I'm getting the impression that Grimm doesn't think Nathaniel needs a head start.
Yeah.
I think the bird's thinking, no, don't give him a head start. Don't get all cocky right now. You know what happens when you get cocky.
Just do
But Nathaniel can't hear it though. It's kind of like how it's a familiar thing, so only like the owner can hear it, and he's trying to ignore it, but the guy's just like, no,
And yet Nathaniel is seeing, like, the whole movements, and this imp is, like, literally doing the Shia LaBeouf, just do it! No audible, just visual, and it was like, the fuck?
Let's finish the chapter.
We're trying.
Nathaniel did not run. He knew it would be fatal. He flicked a look at the other tables, but couldn't see clearly what objects they displayed. His enemy blocked the way to them.
Do you know?
The old man said.
I was impressed the first time we met. So young, so full of knowledge. I thought Simon was very harsh on you. Even the affair with the mice was amusing, and displayed an enterprising nature. Ordinarily, I would kill you slowly. That would amuse me further. But we have important business in a few moments. I cannot spare the time.
The magician raised a hand and spoke a word. A shining black nimbus appeared, glimmering and fluctuating around his fingers. Nathaniel threw himself to one side.
Even that's going to end this chapter, by the way, but even Grimm's getting excited for this build-up.
Right? Yeah. I'm so sorry, guys. I can reset them.
You're good. You know what? Bird commentary is great. I love it.
Yeah, it just gives added flavor with imp shit.
I understand that, people aren't necessarily used to hearing pets vocalizing in Twitch streams, and I think that needs to be normalized a bit more. Yeah, birds can be a little shrill, but Grimm is, for those of you that are watching the video, Grimm is absolutely adorable.
He's such a
And,
cat.
and cats are allowed to sneeze.
And cats are allowed to sneeze, absolutely. I'm not going to fault you for your pet making noise. Like, that's not the kind of channel I run here.
So quick question. Is Amanda a commoner?
Yes. The beginning of the story, I think it was chapter 4. Hold on, no. That was Miss Lucian's. Hold on.
Miss Lucien's a commoner, but this guy made insinuations that magicians don't often hold, like, magical items in their house, and there's nothing of use here for you because of silly commoners. Is Lady Amanda a commoner?
I don't know. Hold on.
She could just be not a magician, or maybe like her parents. Or maybe he just saying commoner, and he sees anyone who's not a magician as a commoner. Yeah,
that's the gist of, in this world setting, non-magicians are known as commoners.
She knows of magic because in chapter 4, Lovelace was talking to her about the Prime Minister and how he's weak. His specialty is charm, but he seldom bothers with that now. 1 second. I don't see anything.
Like, we haven't even seen, like, her having, like, imps or something with her.
I'll be right back. Grim is requesting food.
Okay.
No worries. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I have no idea.
Because Miss Lutien knew about magic, but she's also considered, by all means, a commoner. And it would make me surprised if... Well, actually, it might be better for... For Lovelace if he pinned it on a commoner, because it looks like they aren't treated as nicely. But also, it's not just the Prime Minister he's out to kill. He's going to kill, like, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely seems that way. What else have we got during this
We were definitely correct in one of our predictions.
What's that?
That Lovelace is just using Amanda.
Yep.
She is otherwise oblivious to everything that's going on, and that he effectively manipulated her. That being said, part of me does kind of wonder if maybe he does have some underlying feelings because of how he was just kind of like saying, I don't really want to be like super near that afraid. I don't want to be like super close to everything. Like maybe Amanda is going to be a little bit further away, but she's still going to be affected. Maybe he wanted to be close to her because of how Skylar basically was like, "You're not actually into her, are you?" I was like, "No."
Shylar.
Shyler.
I mean... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it definitely felt like maybe in the beginning it was supposed to be like just for this, and he caught feelings along the way.
I mean, that is a common trope, and we have seen that Jonathan Stroud isn't afraid to do
Common
like
tropes.
some common tropes. Like when Bartimaeus got like captured.
Yep.
He did the common trope, oh, you're in like an unbreakable object. But he's also been known to turn those tropes on their heads.
Yeah.
By saying, nope, you aren't getting away with just plot excuses. So it makes me think that maybe it's something similar, like, oh, the bad guy falls for the person they're trying to trick. But you might turn that on its head, and it might turn into, yes, I've fallen for you, however, you need to help me, so
Basically,
I'll find someone better.
Jonathan Stroud likes curveballs.
He likes curveballs, and I like curveballs. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my tropes.
Mm-hmm.
A personal favorite of mine is found families
Mm-hmm.
and fake dating AUs. But, basically, he's not afraid to throw curveballs, so even if Simon Lovelace did catch feelings for Amanda, I do not think it's going to change the end plans.
Yeah.
If it happens to be that Amanda is in the room when this all goes down and she's caught in the crosshairs, I do not think he's going to do anything to prevent damage happening to her if it means he's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
He might hesitate, but yeah, I think in the end he would still pick himself.
Although I would like to applaud Nathaniel for sticking to his guns and being like, yeah, I know this would like prevent me from being killed, and I know that it's going to like serve my needs in the end, but no. He was mean to me. He's the reason that Miss Lutien is no longer my teacher. He's the reason Mrs. Underwood is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No. I'm not going to do it.
He basically looked this dude in the eye and said, fuck you.
If I, hang on a second. If I can make a, slight comment about, Nathaniel's attitude in this situation.
I see what you're doing there.
So for those of you listening to the podcast, I have a mug with an upside-down Canadian flag on it and the words "Get fucked, hoser" written on it. So, yeah.
Wait, weren't you going to alter the design a little bit because of something happening?
The design has been altered. However, I do not currently have the funds to order another mug, so I'm using that one for now.
Yeah.
What else we got for this chapter?
Nathaniel is not as stealthy as he thinks he is.
Nope.
Although it wasn't really his fault. It's because his disguise didn't hold true.
Yeah. And I think this is one of those, like, yeah, he tried, like, he didn't exactly do the stupid thing, but maybe he should have waited before following. And now plans are going extra fast.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, like, I think it might have been a combination of both, because how else would Lovelace have known that that Nathaniel was actually kind of right behind him?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, I brought you the boy.
And he doesn't even have the amulet on him, too.
Yeah.
Nope. Because he knows that Nathaniel doesn't have his demon with him.
Well, they both believe that they don't have his feel like it with him.
Yeah.
I imagine that at this point, Simon knows about Bartimaeus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's probably put two and two together at this point.
Well, I think he has, but it's also a matter of the fact that I think Farquhar and Jabor would have, like, told him about Bartimaeus. Because why wouldn't they?
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, it definitely could be that Bartimaeus was not as stealthy as he thought he was at the beginning in the kitchen and all that. And that's what gave them the heads up.
See, I know how this book. I know how this book ends, so I'm going to refrain from commenting on this.
That's
whole
right.
line of
You
thought.
looked in
Yes.
spoilers.
You hush.
I know everybody's fate.
You hush. You shut that spoiler mouth.
I didn't say anything.
No, Blaze is good about the spoilers.
I detest spoilers. I will go spoil things for myself every so often, but I will not subject another person to that. I have like zero tolerance for spoilers and shit unless somebody specifically asks for it. And even in that instance, most of the times I will not give spoilers. So, was there anything else we wanted to talk about?
Lovelace is showing his recklessness and his cockiness because he thought for sure that no, let's give this boy a chance to like actually join us. Why wouldn't he join us? And it's like, bitch, after all the shit you put him through, you think he's gonna join you? Like, children are spiteful when they want to be.
Or when they feel justified for it.
So, interesting point of note, or point of interest. We're going to be coming up on chapter 39 next week, when we sit down for our session next week. We can get 3 chapters done, that puts us at 41. Chapter 41 switches back and forth between Nathaniel and Bartimaeus with Viewpoint.
That. Yeah.
So, we know where the climax is.
It's getting serious.
It's getting spicy.
Well, if that's everything,
I believe so.
cool. Thank you once again for joining us for the Amulet of Samarkand, the first book in the Bartimaeus Trilogy. We went through chapter 38 this episode. This has been episode 53 of the Idiot Book Nook. We're coming up on the end of our second book here. So, yeah, for those of you who don't know, we actually sat down and figured out what our next book is going to be, and we're going to be doing Aragon. We're going to be doing the first book in that series. So,
Provided that we don't get the books that me and Blue won.
correct.
Yep.
There's a book that was won through a contest we're looking at doing, and there is the poetry book from Old World Charm. So, provided we don't get those two, we will be doing Aragon next.
Yep. On Twitch, Old World Charm is known as Skull for Initiative, where he runs a Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Absolutely. So shout out to him and his channel and his crew. Guys, it's been a pleasure, as always. I really enjoy sitting down. I actually kind of look forward to Wednesday mornings for this and whatnot, as much as I don't like getting up in the morning. Go ahead.
At least you're not having to do it every single day.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah. Once a week. That's fine.
With that being said, for episode 53 of the Idiot Book Nook podcast, I'm Blazewing.
I am the Reading Dragon.
I'm Lady Punnet.
And I'm Fluttershy.
And we'll see you next episode for episode 39. Toodles.
Bye-bye.
Bye.